One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
From the heart of Appalachia, located under a shopping mall near the city that moves mountains, you're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings.
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick some ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
What's up, Pluggers?
Good morning, everyone. As you can tell, myself and the Queen are here. We have a very special guest today. I'm talking about our good friend Joe from fedupgear.com. Are you fed up gear? Are you fed up yet? Joe, welcome to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Thank you very much for coming on this morning, and sorry it took us so long to get you on. We should have had you on a lot sooner.
It's all good. I'm psyched to be hanging with you guys this morning.
We are so glad that you are. And when we get to segment one, it's going to be open topics led by Joe. He's going to be talking about whatever he wants to talk about. Myself and the Queen are going to comment on it and so forth. But we're going to start out with some listener email. And let me flip through here. I'll go first. And then let Rebecca go, and then I'll come back and finish everything off. That's what she said. Let's see. Our first email is from Luke Fugit. And Luke was giving us a follow-up on the possible Bigfoot that he heard a few weeks ago. So when he messaged in, he was giving a follow-up. Did we read that last week? I'm pretty sure we did. Didn't we? Okay. So I emailed him back, and this is his reply to what he had wrote last week. He says, there is no pond up there anymore. They reclaimed around the mine and filled the pond in. There is a creek running beside the place. Because he was talking about his neighbor had saw recent humongous footprints. And by the time he went up there, with it being hunting season, they were covered up. So I asked him, number one, was there a water source there, like a pond? So there's not a pond, but there is a running creek. And he said, he got me thinking when you mentioned it may need shelter. There is a cave on the ridge, hence the name Cave Branch. So that may be a good place for a camera. So hopefully, Luke, hook that camera up. If you get any footage, we will play that. Please send that to us. I know that you'll play it as well, but please send that to us, Luke. And thank you very much for writing in, and just keep us updated.
Did he say what kind of footprints?
No, he said that his neighbor just said it was a very large, and I assume like the prints that had been found, before that people took molds of and so forth.
Just wondering if it was like a human type footprint.
Like footprint, not like animal print or.
Oh, no. Footprint.
Like, do they have toes?
Yeah.
How many?
5.
5 toes?
Yes.
So, by a recommendation last night, I watched Jurassic Park Dominion, which I guess is the third one, and I don't know, that's not like my type of movie because I don't believe in dinosaurs, but that was a pretty amazing movie as far as the symbolism. That's why somebody recommended it to me. And there is some stuff in there with this company called Biosense, and they like create these dinosaurs that go around and eat all the crops except for the crops that are planted by this company's seed, and just like a lot of relative symbolism and controlling the food industry and bioengineering stuff, and it was a pretty cool. Aside from the stupid dinosaur stuff, it was a pretty cool movie to see the symbolism and stuff in last night.
Joe, you're going to have to come play with the chickens, and then you'll understand that dinosaurs, they had feathers, and they existed. And then I saw this other thing on dinosaurs that was like, if you look at a dinosaur tail and you look at the x-ray of like a beaver tail, that it looks the same, but we know that like the beaver tail is different because we know what a beaver is. But like, what if the whole like drawing and like recreation of dinosaurs is completely wrong and they were just giant fucking beavers, because all we have is a skeletal system, right? Like I'm here for the whole like dinosaurs aren't what they told us, but the fact that like something existed, like I don't know.
I'm not. But you know, kind of like when I say flat Earth, it's just like that's my title. It's not exactly what I envision or what I believe. And when I say I don't believe in dinosaurs, I don't mean that there was no existence. I believe in the giants, the Nephilim. I believe that there were dragons and sirens. Yes. I believe that the dinosaur that's presented to children at the same time the globe is presented to children is all to remove the mystical beings that they don't want you to know about, because it doesn't support their system and their heliocentric lies.
You can't tell me that unicorns don't exist, but the narwhal does, okay? Like, it's not going to happen. Unicorns are real, 100%.
What about dragons?
Dragons are real. I own 2 of them.
Let's see. Rebecca, you want to
listen, if we ever get to that level, just so you guys know, nobody gets to own a dragon.
Why?
You don't get to own a dragon.
The dragon owns you. I mean, yeah.
That's why they made that whole cartoon about that, the kid owning the dragon.
Yeah.
You don't get to own one.
So, Mike, the Smithsonian has this whole, like, underground, like, hidden fucking vault of artifacts that we're not allowed to see. So, yeah, I mean, 100% they left shit out, and there isn't any way that we're going to be able to know the truth unless somebody breaks in there and fucking exposes it all.
They're the T-Rex, like this whole massive creature and being, and then he's got these little tiny...
Because they were wings.
Yeah.
Rebecca, you want to take the next email for us?
Sure. This is from Paul.
And
have you watched?
That is the Paul that
my Paul?
Yes.
Have you watched Graham Hancock's Netflix series Ancient Apocalypse? The alternate theories about what history could be is one of my favorite topics at the moment. Wondering what you guys think. Roswell, keep feeding my ears great audio. So I'm actually not going to comment on this. I'm going to leave you all with a little teaser, because Paul is actually coming on the show next week on the 11th to talk about this very topic. So I want to use that as just
okay.
Hey, tune in next week and we'll talk about that.
Now, see, the only thing that you've done by telling me that is put pressure on me, because I have had that saved in my queue on Netflix for a couple of weeks now, and I've not got to watch it. But I'm going to have to try to watch some of that this week, so I don't sound stupid.
Can you send me notes?
So. But definitely. So, have you saw that, Joe?
No, I honestly don't spend a whole lot of time with that screen on in my house anymore. I do go back, and I feel like I just keep rewatching stuff. Last night I spent some time back at the Zeitgeist. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that was like a mind-blowing documentary that I watched 15 years ago, and kind of started my path down the journey of the understanding of the gods, the Jesus story, the constellation, and I actually watched that last night until somebody texted me, "You got to see this dinosaur movie."
So then you stopped and started watching the dinosaur movie. You know, you mentioned something there that, especially in my area. You know, my grandfather, he's almost 90. He's a deacon of Old Regular Baptist Church. When I was little, I was, brought up in an old regular Baptist church. And for those of you that don't know a lot, I mean, those are the really hardcore guys that, women have to have long hair. Men can't have long hair. Women can't wear makeup. They can't wear pants. They're hardcore. And hell, I guess 2010 or 11, I was on patrol one night and I was just listening to different podcasts at that time. And there wasn't a lot out there at that time. And something struck a chord with me that I still believe to this day. And I've said this quote on the show many times. I've told the Queen this quote. And I read this quote because they said it in what I was listening to. And it says, religion is for people who are scared to go to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there. And that had a major effect on me. And I thought about that for a few days. I'm spiritual. I've always been spiritual. Now, I shared my thoughts with someone a few days later that was, one of these people that try to be overbearing and push their beliefs down your throat. And I just basically told them that quote and told them I was spiritual and I was fine, not to worry about me. And they told me that I was riding the fence. You couldn't have it both ways. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to give you mine. And they asked me for my opinion. I said, I'll tell you my opinion exactly. You have a lot of people all over the United States that go to church every Sunday that go for the wrong reasons because they go to show off their new vehicle or their new suit or their new watch or brag about how much money they put in the offering plate. And to me, those people are vulgar people. I mean, they may do good things, but to me, they seem self-centered and, oh, look at me, what I'm doing. That turns me off with a lot of organizations out there. And especially if you see an organization who day in and day out support, pay, take care of someone to lead their church, and then that person is coming out of his house at 2 or 3 o'clock every morning because you used to work the night shift and you saw them and they're meeting up with a married lady and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. That just turns me off.
So I think that as far as the journey you're talking about between spirituality and religion, it's a very difficult part for people to overcome as they go through this world or the humanly realm or what, if you want to call it that. I grew up Catholic and my parents were very adamant. Every Sunday we went to church, dinner at pasta at my grandmother's after church. It was a very routine thing. I even did this altar server thing for a little bit. But I have to tell you that I never got anything out of church. I would sit there and look around and I would see that people wore their fancy clothes and went and got their car washed before they came to church. And it was almost like a big status show to me. And I would try to listen to the sermons and try to connect with it. And it just never, ever resonated with me. It never made any sense. I couldn't understand what they're talking about. I didn't know if this was a metaphorical story or a real story. I would say I was completely lost in those days of being brought up through the church. And later on in life, you go through certain, personal things that either make you seek God or go away from God. I had lost a child. It made me very angry with God at one point. But it took me into my 40s to actually connect and understand what God was. And then to understand that I was taught to fear God, to fear the rapture, and to not believe in reincarnation. And these are all deceptions pushed on by this organization to essentially lead you away from God. The religious organizations are part of the problem that is hiding God from people. And I mean, I'm not saying this to upset anyone, but I had to renounce my religion in order to find God.
Oh, I can totally understand that. We have a lot of similarities growing up because I was 37 when I finally understood what it meant and what I was. You know, I've had arguments with people that I grew up with that they tell me people that commit suicide are going to hell. And I'm like, look, if somebody is suffering from depression or PTSD or whatever it may be, you know, it says in the book that you read, the Bible, that God is a merciful God. He's not going to punish somebody that's not thinking clearly. And I'm like, it don't work that way. And you touched on something there, the rapture. And, you know, when you were brought up in church like I was, and they're preaching that, you know, when you get old, when I was older, like 14, 15, the world was going to end before 2000. That would piss me off because I felt ripped off because I felt like I wouldn't get a chance to grow up. I wouldn't have a chance to fall in love and have children because it was going to happen and destroy everything. The mental effect that has on a child, that it had on me, was overwhelming. And I don't think any church, whatever your beliefs is, you should not preach to someone in their teens or younger that they're not going to have a chance to live their life.
So that mentality of fear automatically puts an organized religion in the same category as the media. They're using fear to push their agenda or to control your mindset to where you don't want to admit to following or believing in something because of the fear that surrounds all this stuff. I actually try to avoid speaking about the rapture to people that claim to be religious or spiritual or whatever, because I don't believe in the rapture, and I don't believe the fear mongering of it, and I don't believe that it's two separate events, because they talk about, I'm blinking out. They talk about the rapture and the second coming of Christ like as if they're these two separate events. And what I believe we're all here for and what we're doing is to find the light of God and bring it back to our Creator. So I believe that the rapture per se, or God coming down and taking away those that don't believe in him, to some effect, I'm sure I'm not going to cover the scripture very well, but he returns with his army or his angels. In my mind, that all happens at once, because God's army is the people who actually have a connection and a belief in God and have accepted him. So him coming and taking out those that don't believe and saving those that do or whatever, to me, in my mind, that's just all one event, because I think the light of God's army is us. It's the people. When you look at something like the pedophilia stuff, or these big woke companies that start pushing an agenda, like I don't know what would be a good example. Maybe something like Coca-Cola, where they took a stand on this, or Adidas, right? So the people renounced these products, or even the school system. Like the school wants to force your children to wear a mask, and people came out in drones and went to school board meetings that never bothered to even entertain what was going on in the school before. It's my belief that is essentially the second coming of Christ. It's the light of God's army shining through his people. We are not going to accept their agendas, their mindset, their fear. We are going to fight back and protect our energy. That's what we are trained to do. That's what we're here for.
Wow. Rebecca?
I took notes.
Okay. Please. I mean, this.
Because there's a couple points that I wanted to kind of touch on. So I think I'm going to work backwards through that conversation and get back to kind of where we started here. So with the whole like the spiteful God and the fearful God, like I'm 100% with you. Like if you're telling me that this all loving, all accepting God is not going to accept me because I don't believe and follow exactly what, like it doesn't make sense in my head. And off of that spirituality quote, there's another one that's spiritual or religion is following the footsteps of somebody else's experiences, and spirituality is finding your own. And that's what I'm about, because when I think of spirituality, when I think of being spiritual, it's about things that resonate with me. It's about the practices that I choose to acquire and make my own. It's about the intent and the energy that I use and where I use it. It's about the states that I put myself in. It's about the meditation that I do. It's about connecting with nature. It's about, being with the animals and just finding that centered peace and being at peace with both the good and the bad that's happening, right? Because that's where you find happiness, because happiness is fleeting. That's not a state that you can be in. At peace is where you can be. As far as the whole God thing, so, and I speak on this all the time, but God is a title, right? And finding that source within that Christ consciousness that you're talking about. If Jesus equals love, and that's what we're supposed to be leading with, then that I can get behind 100%. I can get behind the fact that Jesus was someone who was just trying to spread a message, who was just trying to spread this awareness, who was aware of all of these things that we're talking about now, you know what I mean? Just in a different context. And that church, we've been so programmed to believe that the only place that we can find God and that we can find salvation is if we go to this building and we pay the monies and we dress up and we put on that fake face, right? And it's not, church isn't, I mean, it is a place, but that's not where you find source or God or whatever it is, insert whatever title you want to call it. And then going back even am I doing good? Am I following backwards okay?
Oh, yeah.
So what you were saying, Goose, to like people just showing up to church for a status symbol, right? And just only doing good when someone's watching. Like I see that on TikTok too. And I see that now. It's like, and that's why it bothers us so much, especially you, because that boils down to your integrity. That boils down to your authenticity. Like when given the opportunity, no matter who's watching, if no one's watching or if everybody's watching, are you going to do the right thing? Are you going to do the good thing that's in good for the highest, or if that's doing what you need to do for the highest good, and not just doing it because you got a phone in somebody's face or because there's, your friends are watching, so now you have to do the good thing, right? Like that's about integrity. And then the spirituality versus religion. And I feel like, again, there's been so many words that have been hijacked and stolen and tainted and twisted and removed from their original meaning, that you hear spirituality and now you have this like new age spirituality and this almost toxic spirituality that you see, right? Like just be careful, like have your own deception of what's going on. And just because somebody says that they do X, Y, and Z doesn't mean that you have to, because again, everybody's practice, everybody's way that they live and how they go about it is completely unique, and just it's never wrong. If it's done with true intent, you can't fuck it up.
I like that.
Oh,
I think I covered all my notes.
I love that. And it is so cool how we just got off on this. Thank you, Joe. Honestly,
I dragged this completely in the wrong direction.
No. When you said something to the effect, well, you hope you don't upset or offend anybody, I was thinking this needs to be said. That is why, anytime that I say that, and I do say that because I do love my fellow man and I'll do what I can to help them. You may never hear me or them say anything about it because I think that stuff should be private. I don't do it for show. I do it because it's the right thing. But I have learned when there's times that you say, I hope I don't offend anybody, that's when you need to go ahead and just say that shit. Yeah, you can say that. And hell, I say it. I say it. I've said it. But, that's what you need to do. You need to just go ahead and say it, because that is always.
What's funny about that image thing is you can have your fancy dress and shine your Cadillac up. And those are the people that you were talking about earlier, that they're meeting some woman behind Stewart's and having an affair or something. I am like the classic example of don't judge a book by its cover. I am completely covered from head to toe in ink.
Which was surprising, by the way, because I did not expect that. When you came to Flockfest, you were in a t-shirt. I was like, damn, Joe's covered.
I found in my journey, like kind of maybe before I even connected with God, I would pray on my Harley. I would go out in the mountains by myself and drive my Harley and just observe nature. And that was where I tried or asked God what I needed to ask or do my connection. So like all of these cliche tattooed up biker white trash stuff, it doesn't fit any of your model or your vision, what you see in me and what I'm actually doing. And that image stuff is all bullshit.
Agree. I agree 110%. And I said previously, I was raised, old regular Baptist, and my grandfather is one of the most humblest men you've ever met. He would give anybody the shirt off his back. It does not matter. They distilled in me that atheists were evil people. Now, that was a belief that I really didn't think about after age 37. And I got to know some people, and I found out later that they were atheists. And it made me very grateful that I was not closed-minded. Because if they had told me that before age 37, I would have been nice to them, but I would not have been as open and as warming as I was. But, once I made my decision that was not riding the fence, I was spiritual. I prefer to be spiritual versus religion, because what you see is what you get. I'm not fake. I'm not going to lie to you. I may be too blunt and hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. But, I'd rather somebody tell me the truth than lie to me or stab me in the back. That shit gets on my nerves. Now, I
got to tell you something that was life-changing for me that I heard about atheists. Atheists can be the ultimate proof of the existence of God. They don't believe in God or heaven, right? So when an atheist person is doing something good, when they are extending kindness, when they are helping people, they are doing it not to gain their acceptance or their trying to please God or anything. They're just solely doing something out of the good of their heart. And that's like the ultimate proof of the existence of a creator, and they don't even know it.
Oh, I totally agree with you. Because, I've got really close to one of these individuals, and me and him were having a discussion about religion once. And I said, look, man, I'm not going to try to, throw what I believe down your throat. And I said, you'll never hear me say that. I said, I will say, and I explained to him how I was spiritual. I said, but I will say this. I said, if it come down to it, I said, let's say, it was the end for me and you. And I believe that, God in the afterlife does exist. Then nothing is proven. I said, but I said, you believe that he doesn't. But what do you have to lose if you do believe that you're a spiritual person and that something does exist? I said, you don't lose anything because you don't believe nothing exists. And he started thinking about that. And hopefully that I'm not confusing anyone the way I explained that. And he started kind of doing a little research on his own and coming around. And he came back probably 6 or 8 months later. And he's like, I think I may be spiritual. And he started telling me why. And, it was just, and I guess what I'm trying to say is for everybody watching, everybody listening, if you want to feel good about yourself and you want to feel good, you want to feel love and happiness in your heart, if you get the chance to do something nice for someone, there is no better feeling than being able to help them through, even if it's talking to them, just whatever it may be. It may be small to you, but it may mean the world to them. You know, just do good. You know, don't judge anybody. Don't be closed-minded. If somebody asks for your opinion, yeah, you can give it, but do not judge anyone, because you don't get anywhere doing that.
Yeah, I kind of covered some of that yesterday in my 5x5. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So go ahead.
I kind of covered some of that yesterday in my 5x5 about protecting your energy, not judging people, and kind of what Rebecca said a little while ago about the TikTok thing. Like, I don't know if I should give this secret away, but one of the things that really aggravates me is when someone just comes in with that laughing face emoji and writes like dumbass or, you know, just coming in with an insult and laughing. You got 3 minutes to try to show someone something or teach someone something. And for someone to just come in and ignorantly laugh at you or call you stupid for researching something outside of their belief system or something, man, that's like the lowest vibrate. It's like, I want to reach through my phone and smack them people. Like, you are so stupid. Why don't you learn instead of laughing? You know, there's definitely a ton of shit on TikTok that I look at and I'm like, this is insanity. I don't go in and write anything on those videos. I just gravitate to something that I'm interested in, or I go and look up what they're talking about. I don't like the insulting thing and the laughing at people, man. That's something that we need to change in our society.
So here's how I look at that, right? Like, first of all, they're a miserable person, and I completely agree with you. Like, you're wasting your energy. Just like you're just, what are you doing, right? Misery loves company. And if you hurt other people, it's because you're hurt. It's just projection, right? So just, right? But also, so let's look at the other side of this for a second here is they came across your page. They have now interacted with your content, and their subconscious has taken it in. So here's what's going to happen because of the way the algorithm works. Your shit's going to pop back up on their page because they interacted with it. Other things like that are going to pop up on their page. So did they subconsciously project their bullshit so that it would feed them positivity to help them change their frequency and their vibration?
Oh, yes, because, I mean, even when someone puts a smiley face or a laughy face, I don't know exactly how many more, but that expands just by them commenting on it. That gives you more power and lets you reach a larger audience just because one person commented on it.
I take those, hey, and I do my flatbacks, and I will change that. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to make them, really, this is what we're doing, really? And then we're gonna spin it, and we're gonna make it positive. So like, I either delete the comments so they're just not there, just delete them, or use that comment and twist it and use it for good and prove to that, because now they're going to get tagged in the video. Now they're going to have a video made for them. It's going to start changing their algorithm. That's how you do this. That's how you infiltrate this. That's how we start. That's how we keep spreading this, is we're not going to drop back down to their level. We're going to meet them where we're at.
I think maybe yesterday I interacted with somebody, and, you know, I mean, they were definitely a negative person, but it did make me think a little bit. This guy was so adamant, and he said, I don't think, I know. And my response to him was, I guess there's no room to learn in a mind that knows it all. That sounds an awful lot like a prison to me. Like, if you're not willing to expand your mind in any direction on something, you're trapped.
Yeah. I say this all the time, especially with like horses and animals, and it always roots back to that for me, because it really applies to everything. Like, the minute that you say that you know everything, you know nothing, because there's constantly new ideas. There's a different perspective of looking at it. There's taking everything, looking at all of the information and taking what resonates with you and leaving the rest, and forming your own perception of it, forming your own practice, forming your own training style, right? So those people like that, like you're 100% right. They are trapped in a prison of their own mind. And if they already know everything, then they should know what I'm going to say next.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. This is great. Let me finish up this. Do you guys have anything else to add before I get to this last email?
Oh, shit. We're still on emails.
Yeah.
No, let's do the last email.
Okay.
And then can we
and this is from James. Thank you very much, James, for this email. I found a science news guy that is not mainstream, and he is actively fighting NASA to get the truth out there. Some of his stuff is technical, and he always cites his sources. This rabbit hole is not intended for the faint of heart. Solar micronova, the magnetic reversal. We are mid-reversal right now, very close to the 40-degree mark of uncertainty, and he gave a link, and for some reason that damn link is not on my email. That's my bad. Sorry about that, but thank you very much, James. If anyone does want to send an email, you can always call, text, or leave a voicemail, 606-379-3396, or you can email Goose at HereToChewBubblegum.com and Flockingqueen at gmail.com. We're going on to segment 1 to open topics led by Joe. Joe, take it away, my friend.
I'll tell you what, I think maybe it's because I'm hanging with her today. But the whole universe kind of just lined up for this. Of course, my topic that I was going to bring in is going to be the flat earth. It's kind of my hot thing right now. And I don't know if I'm able to. Is it all right if I play a clip on here?
Oh, hell, man. You can do whatever you want to.
Can you send it to me in Telegram and I can pull it up?
It's I can do a screen share. It's a ticker talker.
It's a TikTok. You can send it in Telegram, though.
I think I can do it. This is kind of similar to.
Oh, I just gotta. Okay. Let me know when you're ready because it's a double screen and I don't want to pull it because I can see it. There we go.
All right, I'm ready. Can you see it?
I gotta add it in. You ready?
Yep.
I didn't know you had permission to do this. Okay, you ready? Go.
You're going to find that most of my content is about love, light, lifting people up, and holistics. But I am a flat earther, and I do have some flat earth content. When I say I'm a flat earther, I'm not talking about a disc in the sky that you can fall off the edge. The reason that vision might come to your mind when I say flat earther is because that's what they're programming people to imagine. What I actually believe is the flat earth model looks exactly like a heliocentric model. As far as the shape, I do believe there is a flat plane, and I believe that there are mountains, peaks, valleys, hollows, but our surface that we live on, for the most part, is flat. I have actually researched the heliocentric model, the flat earth model, the hollow earth model, even the black hole sun model. This ends up being where I have a problem. I don't believe NASA. I believe that the government, NASA, and the education system, they all push this outer space and heliocentric model stuff to control your mind, to hide land from us, to hide resources from us, to hide technologies from us, and hide abilities from us. It enslaves us in their system. It ultimately is a campaign to hide God from us. We are not living the way God intended us to. We weren't put here to be slaves to a system, living paycheck to paycheck, just eventually to get sick and buy their pharmaceutical medicine and wait to die. That's just a result of the deception. Now, just because I say I don't believe in the globe in one of these videos, it automatically makes people hate me and want me to defend every topic there is that has to do with the earth, space, everything. I can tell you that I myself am still learning things about it. And I know that internet browsers, the Flat Earth Society, and search engines are gatekeepers of the truth. So before you come at me and tell me why it is I have to defend every single thing about Flat Earth, you might want to check out the Flat Earth app because it's organized all of these different topics and questions. I hope you all have an amazing day and start to check some of this stuff out for yourself. God bless. You're going to find that most of my content is about love.
That was awesome. The way, I mean, hell, that even played into what we were talking about previously, and it just came up. And that goes back.
I said the whole universe lined up today because it was about people coming at you for your disbeliefs. Kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about, and everything kind of just lined up this morning. Pretty cool.
So it's funny because I don't know if you've seen this, but I drew this. I was digging for it. I had to find it. And it's a little, I mean, now I see it next to a brand new piece of paper. It's been a little aged and colored. But when I went into the whole flat earth thing, I was like, I don't believe that it's like a flat disc, right? Like you showed in the beginning, like I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And so I drew this, and it's funny that we talk about this still now, and that your concept, so this is so here's your flat earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like what they think. And then going along with your heliocentric theory, right? So because as above, so below. Mm-hmm. And then the firmament, the outer energetic barrier, the Taurus energy field, right, creates the sphere, the globe aspect of it.
Right.
And then these would be your poles where the energy is converging into hollow earth. And then below, we don't know what this is. We don't know. Right? Because that's beyond the ice wall. And I think that the ice wall and Antarctica are two completely separate things.
And and I'm going to tell you guys, I love you both. I'm not totally sold on the whole flat Earth thing. The way that you use that picture, Rebecca, to describe and the drawing, what you were talking about. Anyone that's listening to the podcast, go to Twitch. Go to. I
can send you. I have a picture. I can send you if you want to post it too.
Yes, please do that. Go to Queen of the Flock 138 on Twitch and skip up about 54 minutes in and look at that drawing, because I can see. I mean,
you got to get on Canva and make that.
Explained it perfectly.
You want me to make it a thing?
Make that a thing.
Okay.
That was great.
Yeah, I've had this for, that's how long I've had it. Look at the color difference in the paper.
Wow. Yeah. Like I said, you guys you have to watch this. You have to get on the Facebook page, the whatever. We will let you know where it's posted at, but check this out for sure. We'll definitely post it on the Facebook page. Joe, do you want to take a break really quick and we'll come back and continue with Joe and wrap things up? Joe, thank you very much. When we do end at the end of the day, hang around backstage really quick, Joe, because I want to ask you something. You want to take a break for 5 minutes, Rebecca, or do you need more than that?
Can we do 10?
Yeah, 10's good. And my grandson's having a birthday party today, so the show will be a little bit less. But
oh shit, because you gotta go. Do you want to just wrap up the last segment? Quick?
No. Let's go ahead and take a break. I am good. But we will go ahead and take a break for 10 minutes, and we'll be back. This is a great episode. Thank you, Joe. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. We'll be back in just a moment. It's now time for the news on Here to Chew Bubblegum. A particular piece of footage reportedly shot by a storm spotter in Missouri shows a bizarre circular UFO that appears to sport glowing spikes. This intriguing video was filmed over the summer in the community of Festus, but only surfaced online last week. According to the individual who recorded the footage, they worked for the National Weather Service, and during the off-season, they said they like to shoot slow-motion video of lightning storms, which is how they were able to capture the curious object on that night. A small satellite developed by MIT engineers has set a new record for data transmission between a satellite and the Earth. The Terabyte Infrared Delivery System, also known as T-Bird, uses a laser to beam huge amounts of data, up to 100 gigabytes per second. This data transmission speed is far greater than most connections you'll find between the sky and the ground. SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet offers up to 500 megabytes per second to premium customers, and even the International Space Station's data transmission tops out at around 600 megabytes per second. That makes the T-Bird up to 200 times faster. The key difference is that most satellites communicate with ground stations by radio waves. The T-Bird, on the other hand, uses laser light, and this can carry up to 1,000 times more data in each transmission. Lasers come with their own hurdles, though. The beams are much smaller, requiring more precise alignment between the transmitter and the receiver, and the light can be distorted by the atmosphere, leading to data loss. So the T-Bird has come up with a plan to overcome these issues, and the satellite contains three main off-the-shelf components: a high-speed optical modem, an optical signal amplifier, and a storage drive. All of these items are packed into a container the size of a shoebox to tackle the data loss problem. The team also developed a new version of what is called an automatic request protocol. This allows ground station receivers to alert the sender to specific packets of data that was missed, so the satellite can readjust and send those accordingly. Astronomers have made the most distant observation of a black hole ripping apart a star and feasting upon it, thanks to a jet of stellar leftovers blasted directly towards planet Earth. Because the jet is directed straight at Earth, the violent destruction of the star by this black hole, which astronomers have called a tidal disruption event, or a TDE, was observed in visible light. The discovery could therefore signal a new way to observe such extreme events that are usually only detected in high energy light like gamma rays and X-rays. Could a zombie virus be thawing out and melting permafrost because of climate change? Ancient viruses are locked in Russia's permafrost, and we may soon get a peak. The thawing of the permafrost due to climate change may expose a vast store of ancient viruses, according to a team of European researchers who have said they found 13 previously unknown pathogens that had been trapped in the previously frozen ground of Russia's vast Siberian region. The scientists found one virus they said they estimated to be stranded under a lake for more than 48,500 years. They said highlighting a potential new danger for a warming planet, what they called the zombie virus. The same team of French, Russian, and German researchers previously isolated ancient viruses from the permafrost and published their findings in 2015. In entertainment news, Will Smith knows that fans may be hesitant about seeing his first movie since he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars earlier this year. I completely understand, he told Fox 5 in Washington, D.C. in an interview that has been posted on YouTube. If someone was not ready, I would absolutely respect that and allow their space to not be ready. Smith's new movie, Emancipation, opens in theaters December 9th, and his deepest concern is that his team will get a depressed turnout because of what he did. Reporting for Here to Chew Bubblegum News, I am Goose.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum. It is not often that I am at a loss for words. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've been at a loss for words. Joe, my friend, you have put me at a loss for words. The email segment, the segment one, the way that was, and no offense to anyone, I'm just going to be blunt, that was fucking awesome. That was meant to be said. And I think that goes back to what I said when you feel like, you have to say, well, I don't want to offend anyone. Just go ahead and say that shit. That was one of the best segments. This is one of the best shows that we have ever done. I want to apologize.
It's definitely up there. It's definitely up there.
Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah. I want to apologize that I have to cut it short today, but I want to invite you back on anytime. You have an open invite, and we'll talk about that backstage when we end the show. Before we go on to segment 3, is there anything that you want to add, Joe?
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Yep.
Sorry. No, I'm glad you guys invited me. I'm having a great time on this show, and I think the reason for that is your tribe makes your vibe, you know?
Oh, I love that. Your tribe makes your vibe. I'm going to write that down. That's going to be an episode.
Your vibe attracts your tribe is the quote. You've never heard that before?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I like the way he said it. Your tribe makes your vibe.
Your tribe does make your vibe.
That will be in the episode description today when the podcast drops later on this afternoon. Rebecca, question of the week responses, please take it away.
So our question of the week for last week was, what is it about the human mind that allows it to come up with ideas that no one has ever considered before? And we got some pretty cool answers. So
I think we also answered that on this show today.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. With the amount of cells in the brain, there are an infinite number of connection combinations that can be made without repeating. You can believe that the leaps in technology are man-made, but I believe that during and after World War II, we've had extraterrestrial help. It doesn't very often, but every once in a while, there's a thinker which isn't often either has right chemical balance in the brain. Stars just line up and it happens. Imagination is the key that unlocks the chains to limitations of the ego, opens to doorways to endless possibilities and ideas. The information is already there. We just have to practice accessing it, build pathways, create connections. To bring theory in here, the observer effect notices the quantum realm, which is why there's collective consciousness, but also the individual that formed and their observations and realities, plural on purpose. The act of remembering requires forgetting. There is nothing new. We just keep forgetting to remember. It's already been done before. Because the human mind is boundless. Human nature, however, that's a whole nother question of the week. No matter... Oh, never mind. That's not a response. Hold on. Sometimes I wish my brain didn't click on things it does. I do feel our brain sees more than it lets us know. Like the song comes into our head and you don't know why. And then you realize it was playing softly in the background of a show you watched but didn't acknowledge. So we got some really, really cool answers on that one.
Yes, we did.
It's actually a great topic that lines up perfectly with this show today.
Yeah. It just, everything just kind of has a way of just working out, especially when you just stay in the flow of it. Like I've really been adopting this, this is just a neutral event and just really I'm actively staying in this flow state. And even when I do feel myself getting worked up about things, I find that I'm not so much struggling with what I'm getting worked up about. I'm struggling with the fact that I'm struggling with it. Like, damn it, we're here again. What are we doing? And that's where I take that time to go meditate. I go for a walk. I go, do something to try and bring myself back to that neutral. Like, don't mind me. I'm just sitting in my flamingo floaty with a joint on the universal flow river. Okay.
Oh, I can totally understand that.
So this week's new question, is that where we were going?
Yes.
When is the truth an absolute fact and when is it an opinion?
Oh, that's a great question of the week. Again, the question of the week is, when is the truth absolute fact or when is it an opinion? That's a great one.
That ties into today's show too.
Yes, awesome. It does.
I did that one on purpose, Joe.
Universal lines.
Hey.
So, kind of jumping, are we?
No, man. Please feel free.
Kind of jumping back to the original question, and like my experience and what I'm doing. My 5x5s are strictly like I said, it's all about 5 positive messages that I can put out to somebody every day. And, hopefully something in there catches somebody. But like, I guess the dark and the light, the above and below, the balance to this is I'm going to keep fighting the heliocentric stuff on my account, even though everything I'm trying to do is all about positivity. And this is the reason for that. I believe that the flat earth holds the final card to humanity rising. If you will, all of these people that we've accepted to be some sort of authority or I don't know, the science, the people that are behind the heliocentric thing, essentially, you have, not just the elite, it's our society. It's, first of all, it's NASA. They're the ones who provide all the information. It's the religions. It's the education system. So they are, what I feel, creating a prison here on earth for your mind. And until everyone can bring themselves to a new level, to become peaceful and kind and loving and come together as humanity, you're imprisoned in your mind. And I believe that the globe is the fabric of all of that. And I am going to keep fighting it every day until people understand what is behind all this, because when all of those people who have been complacent in this deception are revealed, they lose all their credibility. The school system is no longer valid. The NASA is no longer valid. All the religions that are pushing this stuff, it's no longer valid. They've all lied to you, and they are complacent in this religion. And the reason that they start at such a young age is because NASA actually did a study on the creative mind, and they found out that at 5 years old, you are at the peak of your creativity. That is when your free mind and your imagination are thriving in your mind. And at 5 years old in the education system is when they teach you to just memorize and regurgitate garbage that they feed you. They are imprisoning your mind at the opportune time when your creativity and your imagination are about to soar. They lock you up in this prison of your mind, and I'm going to keep fighting that no matter how much hate it brings on me.
Thank you for continuing that fight and doing that fight.
I completely agree with you too. Like the kids, it's usually age 7 that they start to lose that second sight ability. Like Shar, like my 3.5-year-old, she talks to and sees like the orbs in her room that I can only see with a camera. Like she knows, I know she has all of the universal answers and secrets, but she doesn't have the language to do it, which then ties back into the fall of Babylon and the Tower of Babel and why we call it baby Babel. And then it ties into Alzheimer's and dementia and these people like reverting back to this language that doesn't exist. Are they actually just remembering where the fuck they came from? Because they're having completely coherent conversations. Like they're understanding everything that they say. So that ties into a whole nother thing. But I am, 100% with you. They trap you and program it differently.
Totally agree.
I don't know if you guys happen to catch the one that I did on the position of your bed.
Yeah, with the Kua numbers.
So listen, this is kind of fucking wild because there's things like feng shui stuff that tells you how you need to organize your house, your room, how you position yourself in order to allow energy. But it's playing into the narrative or the imprisonment of your mind, because what they tell you is that you should never sleep with your head to the north. The reason being, that's the way that the energy is being attracted to the North Pole, right? And it's saying that what it does is draw your metals inside your body and all your blood pressure up to your head and causes anxiety and well,
I was just gonna say, so it like the feng shui stuff, it goes a level deeper than that into the Kua number, which goes off your birthday and like the stars and like astrology and everything like that, which then ties into human design and everything else. But like your Kua number, it's not that like there's certain directions for certain people. Like I have my power directions and I have like my 6 killings directions and my total loss, right? But like that's completely different directions than say Dirtydan or Char. Like everybody has their own directions. So I do agree with you on the fact that they're trying to program and shit, my pen was open. They're trying to program and indoctrinate us that, oh, north is the bad direction for some.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it does. It definitely does depend on your level of consciousness. I will give you that. But if you're the way I look at it, and for me and where I'm at in life, I want to align with the way that the energy is moving. I want my head facing north. I want that energy coming.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, is you have to pull your, you have to look into what you align with in your energy, because it might not be north.
Okay, so let's just say in general, the fact that they're telling everyone to do the exact same thing.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
There's the problem.
That's what I'm getting
also, on another note, when you're sleeping, I don't know if you guys notice that you're always warmer when you're sleeping, right? Your body heats up and you're doing nothing. That is your energy, because when your body falls asleep, your body is basically recharging itself physically for the next day. But your mind and your spirit actually leave your body when you're sleeping. That is when you travel into, whether you're aware of it or not, this is like lucid dreaming and stuff. You're actually traveling outside your body. The reason for all that heat is because all of this mental and soul work is being done in your sleep. Yeah, you're busy. And that leads into the grounding of your bed. They have you sleeping on a cotton mattress because cotton is an insulator. That's why you're heating up your body. All of this energy is happening and they're insulating you. Grounding your bed is a super important thing. They make grounding mats for your bed. You can do it yourself with metal tape and a piece of wire and stick it in the damn ground. But if you ground yourself during your sleeping, you're able to kind of keep your body in sync with what your soul is doing in the middle of the night.
So I want to kind of go off your sleep theory about recharging, and I can't remember his name. I saw this thing. It was a while ago. But the analogy that he made was like, sleep is like your car going into a shop, right? If all your dash lights are on and you're not in alignment and you're sick and you're not taking care of your vessel, your vehicle, then you're gonna require an enormous amount of sleep, because your body is constantly trying to recharge and fix itself. Whereas those that are more aligned, that get on this path, that are more holistic, that are starting to do things that align with them and that are good for their vessel, they don't need as much sleep. And they start getting into, the ancient sleep patterns of how we're actually supposed to sleep, which is in these short little bursts. We're not supposed to go down for 8 hours a night. We're not supposed to, our most productive hours are between like 2 and 6 in the morning. Like we're supposed to be up at those hours and not sleeping. We're supposed to take a midday siesta during the hottest part of the day to relax our body, to come back to neutral, to rest our soul and ease our spirit. So yeah, I completely agree that we're sleeping wrong in so many ways. I have a grounding mat on my desk, actually. It plugs in, like it's a whole thing. I unplugged it though because it started shocking me. But I sleep with crystals under my bed. Like I sage my bed. There was a while where I didn't even sleep on like my bed was on the floor. Like Char's bed's on the floor. Like there's no space in between there because I want that shit.
Right. Well, I mean, ever since I retired, I have been waking up. I mean, normally it was a struggle for me to get out of bed, when I was working, and I would get up at 6 o'clock, go to the gym. In the last 3 months, I usually lay down between 11 and 12, and I wake up anywhere from 3 to 4:30 every single morning. This morning I was up at 3:30, and I've been up since 3:30. So I totally get what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. And I do get a lot of shit done during that time when I wake up, and it makes me feel productive. And sometimes I take naps, sometimes I don't, but I totally get what you're saying. Joe is going to pick our TikToker of the week. He's the first guest that ever has got the honor of picking our TikToker of the week. And Joe, yes, he is.
Huh.
And Joe, do you want to tell everyone who that is, or do you want me to tell everyone who that is?
Yeah, I selected Clint Bryant, and I think I sent you his
Yes, you did. It is our TikToker shout out of the week is Clint Bryant _ Lucky 7. He's also known as let me pull this up really quick here. I should have had this up already. But on his TikTok page, that is his username. Yep, that's it. Clint Bryant _ Lucky 7. And his, well, shit, I can't say.
We got it.
Okay.
We got it.
Yeah. But it's like his actual name is like, was it Mr. Twizzlers or something like that? I was just looking at it a little bit ago. So, but again, Joe, thank you very much, my friend, for coming on. Very, very special thanks. And I want to encourage everyone to be sure to follow Joe on TikTok at FedUpGear5x5. You're welcome back anytime, Joe. Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
I want to remind everyone to be sure to check out upcoming episodes of Just Listen on YouTube and check out Rebecca Short, Flockingqueen on TikTok, and Queen of the Flock 138 on Twitch. That'll do it for this week, but remember, we all have a voice. If we stand together, we can make the world a better place. We'll see you next week, and until then, so long for now.
Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm just going home.
Joe, do you have any parting words?
God bless y'all. Just stay positive.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum at 606-373-3396. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.